All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. So today we are not going to be covering a intelligence machine learning topic. Nope. It is time for it's that time of year again. I got my hoodie on, official hoodie on, the ASCII Santa hat hoodie. We are gonna cover maybe the first and second day, or at least the first day of the Advent Code, maybe the second day. Now, to be like completely transparent, I have not looked at these at all, like not at all. In my experiences in years past, days 1 and 2 are generally not generally up to like day 6 is not too bad. So I'm not too worried about this. Although that would look really bad if I like if it flopped live on day 1 or day 2. The only reason I say that I don't know if we'll get to day 2 is just time. Like these are not like so. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's step back for a second. What is the Advent of Code if you are not familiar with it? So the Advent of Code is a 25-day thing in the month of December. So just as any other Advent goes, it is not like what do you want to say? It's not necessarily like tied to some sort of religion or anything like that. It's just like a fun sort of coding challenge kind of thing where you get a new coding challenge each day that consists of 2 parts, and they are done in such a way that when the creators of these challenges provide the code to you or the input to you, you can really solve these with any programming language that you want. So if you want to use Java, if you want to use, I don't know, Rust, if you want to use Python, you can use whichever one you like, and you will still be able to get the same results. Now, obviously, I'm going to go with Python because that is my preferred language. So let's go ahead and just jump into the user interface here, and let me show you what it looks like. If I can share, okay. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Okay, so sharing my screen now. All right, oops, didn't mean to show you that. Okay, so all right, so this is the like when you go to the Advent Code website, this is the splash screen you're greeted with. Now, if you want to go back and review years prior, which I am currently doing, in like to like for some of the because after about day 10, like these challenges actually get pretty difficult. But the biggest reason I am a proponent of these challenges is not only is it kind of a fun way to kind of build your skills, but like these are well, I guess I kind of just said it there. Like it builds, it helps to build your skills. And I've learned some really interesting things. A couple of which that I actually have applied to my own day-to-day work before in these challenges. Now, this first one is probably going to be relatively simple. We may or may not learn something. So this is actually a great starter stream. So if you've never coded before, if you're just getting into coding, I'm gonna try to make it as seamless as possible for you all. All right, so let's go ahead and you can see here. You look at years past, like there is like a leaderboard. I don't concern myself with leaderboard because like the leaderboard is really for those people who like jump on right when the coding challenge launches and see who's can like accomplish it the fastest. And so you can see like the next day 3 is going to launch here in about 9 hours. So that is at 11, or I'm sorry, midnight Eastern time. So I'm in the Central Time Zone, so that's 11 my time. And I'm old man Dave. Just not, I can't hang up that late, so I don't even concern myself with the leaderboard. But anyway, so let's go ahead and show you the format of how these things kind of work. All right, so I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for myself. Okay, so I'm not gonna read this verbatim for you, but basically the way these things work is they give you like a sort of scenario of what's going on, and then they give you kind of an example. So here's an example of what we are gonna be looking at. And then it'll tell you like what is the goal that we're trying to do here. So actually, I might actually read this out loud. Maybe not the first, or let me see how much do I want to read this out loud. So these first 3 paragraphs are just introducing the Advent of Code in general. And then these next few ones. So yeah, this one's relatively short because usually like when we get, well, I'll go ahead and show you so the one that I was working on last, which honestly I've done such a bad job of like I've honestly just never gotten to the end of these things. They get really hard in the end. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, so go back to calendar. Let's look at year. How do I get back to the year? It used to be right here. What's going on? Okay, 2022 maybe. Okay, so here we go. So this is where, like, I actually am trying to go back through and actually do these diligently. So if you want to go back through these, like, and build your skills over like the years, that's what I intend on doing. I've just been really slow about it. So like, let's look at this one here. Like this one here gets well, like pretty lofty pretty quickly. Like actually that one's not even that long. Like this one gets really long, I think. Yeah, so you can see that the input on this one's really long. So let's go back to just 2023 now. All right, so I'm going to go back to day one. All right, so let me go ahead and just read this aloud because I'm not good at reading and talking at the same time. So why not read and talk at the same time? All right, so you try to ask why can't just, okay, so maybe I did skip a part here. Okay, so you try to ask why they can't just use a weather machine, not powerful enough, and where they're even sending you, the sky, and why your map looks mostly blank. You sure ask a lot of questions. Maybe I did skip a part up here. Okay, the elves have given you a map, and on it, they've used the stars to mark the 50 locations that are likely to be having problems. Oops. All right, I guess we need to go back all the way at the beginning. All right, something is wrong with the global snow production, and you've been selected to take a look. Okay, the elves have given you a map. On it, they've used stars to mark the top 50 locations. Oh, hey, Jake. Yeah, I didn't. So, by the way, I am monitoring chat across LinkedIn and YouTube. Saw one of my friends out there, Jake out there, said, "What's up?" Some said, "What's up?" back. There's about a 15-second delay, though, so I just wasn't paying attention to that one. So, anyway, the elves have given you a map. On it, they've used stars to mark the top 50 locations that are most likely to be having problems. All right, collect the stars by solving the puzzles, blah, blah, blah. All right, so you try to ask why they can't just use a weather machine and where they're sending you, the sky, and why your map looks mostly blank. And hang on, did you just say the sky? When you realize the elves are already loading you into a trebuchet, when you notice that the elves are already loading you into a trebuchet. All right. As they're making their final adjustments, they discover that their calibration document, your puzzle input, has been amended by a very young elf who was apparently just excited to show off her art skills. Consequently, the elves are having trouble reading the values on their document. All right, the newly improved calibration document consists of the lines of text. Each originally contained a specific calibration value that the elves now need to recover. On each line, the calibration value can be found by combining the first digit and the last digit to form a single number. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm already just trying to think how to solve this. All right, to form a single 2-digit number. So, all right, so this first line is 1 ABC 12. All right, so you can see here, this actually is going to be pretty easy. This first one, I think. Although the only one that I'm kind of thrown off on is why there is not a second number in this one. Okay, so 77. Is there not? Am I TRE? All right, so in that order to form a single 2-digit number. Okay, so the reason I'm a little bit thrown off by this one, so some of this makes sense already. So like you could see this one's pretty obvious. So this one's going to be, so basically what we're trying to do with this challenge is we're trying to look through each of these lines and then getting the first digit and the last digit. So in this first one, it's very easy to see which one that is. So it's the 1 and then the 2. And then in the next line, it is 3 and then 8. And then this line is going to be 1 and then 5. Is that correct? 1 5 1 5. Yeah, 1 5 15. And then this is where I'm kind of thrown off, like why there's only a single 7 in there. TREBUCHET. Okay, so is there a little thing that says in here, like what happens if there's just like a single thing in here? So like it looks like what they did is like it looks like if it didn't have a second value that they just repeated it. Okay. All right. So this actually is not going to be too bad. So what we got to do first is download our puzzle input. So what we got to do, so this is our full puzzle input. So you can see there's quite a bit here. And so I got to actually download this as a text file. So let me go and download linked file. Okay, so that just threw it down into my thing here. Sorry, I can't see. All right, there we go. All right, so let me open up my Finder so we can move this appropriately. New Finder window. All right. All right, so it's in my downloads, and I'm gonna move it over to my repositories, and I have an admin Ocoda repository. Oh, it's time to add a new year. Look at that. All right, new folder, new year, 2023. And then how do I do this? Day, and then I'm gonna make a subfolder in here, day -01. And then I'm going to throw that over in there. Okay. All right, so like I said, I'm going to be using Python throughout this, and part of the reason I like to use Python for these is because we can make use of a Jupyter Notebook. And a Jupyter Notebook, if you're not familiar with that, so a Jupyter Notebook is like an interface with where you can write some code in one cell, if you will, and then run that code individually, and then interspersed throughout, you can also make these annotated, or like these markdown like comment blocks. So it's really great for research and stuff. Jupyter Notebook should never be used in production or anything like that, but for research, for discovery, data scientists use it all the time for discovery sorts of work. Again, we shouldn't use it for production purposes. However, it's great for these kinds of things. I'm gonna put on my glasses because old man Dave needs his glasses. All right, so you can see in here I've got my first day, and I'm gonna create I'm just gonna, oops. All right, so lscd 2023 lscd. I'm gonna go ahead and make the day 02. All right, cd day 01. All right, so touch. All right, what is the name of this challenge? I like to name my notebook whatever the name is. Trebuchet. All right, touch trebuchet .ipynb. All right, so so what that just did, and I could have done this via the UI, but I for some reason I just find it like I like creating files and other things through the CLI better. Okay, so you can see I've got my Jupyter Notebook. So what I personally like to do, you don't have to do this, is just for posterity's sake, just in case that whatever, if this website ever goes down for whatever reason, I like to just copy this whole thing. And again, so there's actually 2 parts to each day. I actually don't think we're going to get to day 2, to be honest, because I'm already doing a lot of talking. So I guess I could have just done day 1 and we could have come back with day 2, but who knows? We might do another live stream at some point. But anyway, so I'm going to change this to a markdown cell, and I'm going to call this 2023 day 1 trebuchet. And then I'm going to put part 1. All right, and then I like to wrap these little examples in these, I don't know what you call these, backticks. Okay, so there you go. Now I have the same set of instructions here. Okay, so, all right, so the first thing that we need to do, or the first thing that I like to do, is I like to play with a dummy input, because the dummy input, the nice thing with the dummy input, or the sample input, if you will, is we know the answer to it. And that's the nice thing about all these challenges is they will always give you a sample, and they will always give you like what the expected value of that sample is. So that way you can kind of do a stress test yourself to see like, okay, am I on the right track before actually submitting the real deal? So I'm going to put setting the, oops, I'm still in Markdown, aren't I? Let me change that to code. All right, let me make this bigger for y'all too. How about that? All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna copy the sample input. All right, setting the sample input. And what do they call these? So I'm very specific with my names. You don't have to be specific with your names. They call these, so for each new calibration document consists of lines of text. Each line contains a specific calibration value. I'm going to call this sample calibration values equals. So am I still in Markdown form? I must still be in Markdown. Oh, huh. All right, how do I change this out? All right, I thought not a code cell, change to cell to Markdown. Oh. Maybe it's because I need to select my kernel. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was just being silly there. Okay, so now if we look at the sample calibration values, there they are. Why did they do the new line breaks like that? Okay, I don't think that matters too much. Well, let's go ahead and actually load up the actual input file. I'm going to call this, so what I like to do here, the way I do this is with open input.txt r as f. I'm going to call this calibration value equals, what is it? f.read.splitlines, is that right? Is that what I do? Let me check. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted. But I didn't want the new line characters in this, so sample calibration values. I don't know why I did that, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't do that. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to just Google this really quick. Wait, no, I know how to do this. Duh, all right. Sample calibration values dot split on the new line character. Why did it? Oh, okay. Maybe I need to correct this a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right. So we basically have the same sorts of inputs here now. So we have a list. So what we just did here, if you're not too, like I said, I'm going to try to make this as beginner friendly as possible. I'm trying to scroll back up here to view my output. So we have what these things are referred to as lists or arrays. And so these are just like things that you could place in, like a bunch of different whatevers inside of a list of whatever. I know that was a terrible explanation, but this is basically a list of string values. Now so when you see these characters that are wrapped by these quotes, that is represented as a string. Now in Python, you can actually have multiple different data types within a single list. So you could have integer values, you can have strings, you can have whatever. All these puzzles are always going to begin as string-based values in this line-based form, just as so. So let me show you again. So it's always going to look like this, and that is why you could always do this with any coding language, because this is not a format specific to any coding language, and that's why we can make use of it just fine here. All right, so I am going to temporarily overwrite the calibration values to equal sample calibration values, just so we're working with the sample. And so then when we look at calibration values again, then it should just be our sample. Why is that? Oh, that's because I didn't set it. Equals. All right. All right, just checking. Okay, taking a sip. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to iterate through each of these items in this list and pull out or iterate over all of the integer values, or iterate over all the characters and pull out the first value and then the last value, and then kind of smash those together. And then we need to, what do we need to do? We need to, what, add them all up at the end? Yeah, add them all up at the end. All right, so with the sample value, all right, so what I like to do first is I usually like to pull out just one single item. So I'm going to call this calibration line equals calibration values in the 0th position. Okay, so by the way, if you are not familiar, so the way that the counting works in Python, at least, and in most coding languages actually, is if you want to get the first value out of this list, it is actually at the index position of 0. And so let me go ahead and just show this. So calibration line. So yeah, you can see that we just got the single value there. So now we are just playing with one thing. And I like to get really granular with these things, because if I can get it right in one instance, most of the time it can extrapolate out to the other instances. All right, so what we need to do is iterate over all the characters in this line. All right, so for car in calibration line print car. Okay, so as you can see there, I just created this is a simple for loop. So what this for loop is doing is saying, okay, so for each individual character in this line here, so you could see 1 ABC2 in this calibration line, we are just going to print out the character value. Now this is where we can start to do some additional things. So if we want, we can start to check on to see if this is an integer value or not. So like, so again, when it comes to coding things like this is not something that I do on a daily basis. So don't worry if you don't know how to check certain things. Like I'm actually going to end up using Google for some of these things. So like what I mean by that is I don't recall off the top of my head how to check if this is an integer value versus this being a character. So what I might do is I might say how to check if a string character is an integer in Python. Okay. So is digit. All right, so let's try this out. So print is digit car. Okay, is digit not defined. Maybe I did this the wrong way. All right. Int to check. All right, just reviewing this really quick. So dot is digit. Oh, it's dot is digit. Oops. Car dot is digit. Okay, so you can see here that we got true, false, 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 true. Now this is something that you need to be careful with in the real world. In this particular instance, I am not going to worry about this because the data quality here is fine. But what I mean by this is, so let's go back and just look at our input overall, or just yeah, let's look at our input overall. And I'll zoom in again for y'all. So you can see that every single line here consists of. Oh, I'm a little bit thrown off because I see digits and I see the actual numbers in here. Wait, what does this mean? I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. All right. No, there's no way that would be. All right. So the new calibration document consists of lines of text. Each line calibration value. So the first digit and the last digit in that order to form a 2-digit number. All right. So. All right. So, but basically what I was going to say is, so we don't need to be mindful of making sure that these are integers or if these are float values. In the real world, you might want to be cognizant of that. So in this case, I'm not going to worry about that. So like this code here to check if this is a digit or if it's not is fine. So yeah, like I'm trying to think how do I reverse it? There's kind of two ways we could go about this. The first way we could go about this is, well, actually, I'm going to go about this an interesting way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have, so we have a line, our calibration line. I'm going to, in order to get each of these values, I'm going to just swap them and revert. Well, because that's going to be, this one's I don't want to say tricky. Like maybe I'm just not thinking about this correctly. Well, all right, well, let me tell you what I was thinking, but I'm deciding against it. So what I was thinking was, you know, because we need to get the first digit from each of these lines. So what I was just thinking is just iterating through, grabbing the first digit the first time, and then flipping the entire thing, and then just going backwards. The problem with that, as you can see, and I don't know if that's just the sample is off. Let me see if there's another one of these that, like all these have multiple digits. Like this actually really bugs me. Like usually their stuff is very good. So the fact that there's only a single digit in there kind of bugs me, because that's what I was thinking there is like, then this isn't going to work. Like if you do the back flipping thing, then how do you ensure that this 7 is also still the 7? But if you look at the actual, well, I guess this one here and this one here does not have a second digit. Okay. All right. I really hope, so I'm looking in here and I see that there's actual words as numbers. So I'm wondering if part 2 is something along those lines where you actually have to find the word, convert the word value to a number value. If so, that's not going to be fun. Okay. Okay. All right. So it's really bothering me that they did not specify what happens if on each line, like the first digit and the last digit in that order. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess my thing actually would work because you just flip it, you'd grab the first one, and then you'd flip it, and you'd grab the same one, and it wouldn't matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so all right, that's that. This isn't actually going to be too bad then. All right, so I'm probably not making any sense at all to you. So all right, I'm gonna create a thing to hold all of our calibration digits. I'm gonna call this thing called calibration digits equals an empty list. So this is just going to be a container for every time we go through one of these rows and we get the digits that we need to, we're going to stick them in here. All right. So, all right. So what I'm going to do, so for character in calibration line, if car is digit, so this is going to be an if statement. So this is going to check, this is what we call like a conditional kind of thing. So if this, then we are going to run this next line of code. But if it is not a digit, then we're going to break out of here. Or I'm sorry, we're not going to break out of here. We're just going to continue through the iteration. I'm explaining this really poorly to beginners. I apologize, but I'm trying to think, talk, type, stream all at the same time, and I'm not doing a great job of that. Okay, so so first digit. All right. So for car, if car is digit, so first digit equals int. So I'm going to convert this to an integer car. And then what I'm going to do then is break. So yeah, so after we find the first digit, we don't want to continue going through here. So actually, let me just go ahead and show you what happens if we don't do this. So first digit. Okay, so you can see here when we looked at the calibration line here, so it grabbed the first digit as the number 2. Well, why did it do that? So the reason it did that is because it went through every single character here, 1, A, B, C, 2, and we only wanted the first one, but when we got to here, we didn't tell it to stop. So it kept going, and so that's something that you need to be mindful with these for loops kind of things. And so what we want to do here instead is when we find the first digit, let's break. So we're going to break the loop, and then so that way we'll actually get the first digit appropriately here. Now, how do I reverse a list? I could never remember how to reverse a list. Python, how to reverse list. And I'm trying to use just Google here. Like, I've actually been using ChatGPT a lot more lately. Although, like, the advent of code people were pretty adamant, like, please don't use advent of code. Yeah, so reverse. That is not prime numbers reverse. List reverse. Why did that not work? Oh, that's because it's not a list, it's a string. Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, so how to reverse a string? How to reverse string in Python? How to reverse a string? The string to reverse. All right, so sometimes okay, so that actually did reverse the string. All right, so we're gonna create 2 little for loops here. So we're gonna put getting the first digit. Well, I'm gonna call this second digit. Second digit. All right, so second digit, and then we break the loop. Getting the first digit, and then I'm going to call this first digit. All right, so maybe I actually didn't want to convert these to the integers yet. All right, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, and I'll tell you why. All right, so now combining the digits. All right, so what I'm doing here is, oh, I need to take this out because I won't have that reverse anymore. Let me make sure that these are printing. All right, so print first digit is first digit. Print f second digit digit. All right, so there we go. We got the digits appropriately, but these are string-based values. But the reason I wanted to keep them as strings right now is, remember, we have to join them together, and it's actually easier to, in my opinion, there probably is a way to do it via some sort of Python command that's you can do with integer values. In order to combine the digits, all you have to do is combined digits equals first digit plus second digit. Now this might be a little bit confusing to you all, because you might be thinking, well, is 1 plus 2, that's 3, right? Well, no, because we're using strings. So when you actually execute the plus command here on string-based values, all it does is it concatenates them together. So actually, let me go ahead and show this. Print f combined digits. Combined digits. All right, so you can see there that we got the number 12 there, but this is actually not a number. So I'm gonna actually cast this to an integer as such. All right, there we go. And then we want to adding the digits to calibration digits. Okay, so all right. So now that we've combined our digits, we want to place them inside of our overall list here. So calibration digits append. So we're going to append this to this list here, combined digits. Okay. And okay, so that is just for the one calibration line. All right, so now we can go ahead and do this for all of them. So let's go to for calibration line in calibration values. All right, and then we're going to need to indent all this code here to make sure that it is nested appropriately. All right, so that really should. All right, so print. Oops, I guess we don't need this code in here anymore. We're good with this code. Peace out, code. So print calibration digits. All right, so you can see there. So this should be 12, 38, 15, 77. 12, 38, 15, 77. All right, now all we need to do is add these up. Now the nice thing about Python with these lists and stuff, so we have these are a list of integer values. There's a nice little operator called the sum operator that all we need to do is pass in our list here. So calibration digits, and then you can see here that we get the sum. So all we have to do now is just apply this back to the final thing. All right, so print f calibration final sum is going to be sum of calibration digits. Okay, boom. And then I'm going to comment out this line. All right, now let's go ahead and run all. Restart, run all. All right, so it says my final sum is 554,601. So this should be our final answer if I did this correctly. Yeah, all right, part 1 is done. So you can see here, day 1 was not too bad. I just had to do a little bit of thinking about it. But let's go on to part 2. Part 2 is generally a little bit more, oh yes, I was afraid of this. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit trickier. So like, cause you can see here that there are words encapsulated in here. And so it is basically saying, okay, if you see a word in here, then your calculation is quite right. It looks like some of the value, let me go ahead and copy and paste this. So I'm going to call this, all right. Oops. All right. Part 2. Oops. Got to paste this. All right, so your calculation isn't quite right. It looks like some of the digits are spelled out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 count as valid digits. Equipped with this new information, you need to find the real first digit and the real last digit on each line. Okay, so we can't do what we did before, and that makes this a little bit trickier. Sometimes you can build off of what you did before. In this case, we're probably just gonna have to start from scratch again. I am gonna reset this back. So this is this. Wait, is it the same input value? Oh wait, no. I guess they changed this. the sample. Sometimes they keep the sample the same, but I guess this time they changed it. No problem. All right. So what do we call this? Sample calibrate. Setting the sample input. All right. What do I call it? Sample. Oops, how did that cell get there? Sample calibration values equals, oh my gosh, equals all right, and then I need to break on the new line. And let's go ahead and view it. Sample calibration values. Okay, so here's our new sample input. So basically now we need to get all right, so 2983 24 42 14 76. Okay, so all right, so what I'm thinking to do, wait, are there hold on, they count as valid digits. Sorry, I'm just pausing to think about this for a minute. Wait, am I not live anymore? Did my stream end? Oh my gosh. No, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry. I look really goofy though when I'm thinking though. I'm just looking at my other screen down here. All right. All right, 219. Because it's not hard to get the string values out of here. That part is not hard. We can do that relatively easy. It's just making sure that it is the first one. Or I wonder if we can convert them. Converting, oh, I like that idea. So what I'm thinking to do instead is just converting them into some, like, I don't know if this is making sense what I'm trying to say out loud here, but basically like, right, so I'm gonna grab the first calibration line again, kind of similar to what we did above. So before we even start the whole process of trying to figure out everything, what if we just converted all the strings into these values? Yeah. But I'm just not sure how to do, like, what's the best way to do that? All right, so we have like not, what? Oh, that's right. Sample calibration values equals, oops, sorry. Calibration values. All right. There we go. All right, so what I was thinking there is to just, if I continue to like concatenate these characters together and then checking to see if it is an actual value, then, but how do I get rid of the other ones? I'm trying not to Google this one, but, and when I mean Google it, like I don't mean Googling the answer. Like I mean Googling like the concept, because I'm wondering, so like, well, let me just illustrate, just write out what I'm trying to do here. So you see, we have the number two, the number 2 written out as characters, then the number 1 as an integer, and then the number 9. Basically, I'm thinking, how do we get it from 219 into 219, and then do our assessment? Because that would make things a heck of a lot easier. But I'm just not sure the best way to do that. All right, I'm going to have to Google this. How to convert numbers as words to number integer Python. All right, I don't think I'm Googling this correctly. All right. All right, I have 2 and 1. All right, so yeah, but I don't know when the actual words start. So if not, all right, so they're just doing like some iteration over here, but that's not gonna help me out. Word to number. Oh my gosh, it looks like there's a Python library that actually does this. That's funny. But I wonder if they're all. But that's the problem. They're all concatenated together. When all concatenate. All right. Oh, I don't want to do. I don't want regex. Golly, I hate regex. At least ChatGPT has made regex so much easier. So if you don't know what regex is, so regex is shortening for regular expressions, and basically it's a way to like it's a way to do a fancy search on characters in like a string or whatever. But the syntax for writing a regex statement is, don't even try to learn it at this point. Like, don't try to learn it just because. Well, I mean, I guess if you do work with it on a daily basis, do try to learn it. It's just like probably the messiest syntax that you can ever work with. And like I said, ChatGPT makes this just a heck of a lot easier these days. Yeah, but they're all joined together. All right, let's go back to here. So 219 into... Yeah, we're definitely not going to get to day 2. I'll do day 2 on my own. Or we might come back. All right, so 219. All right. 823. I'm just trying to think of if there's like a clever way to do this. Okay, so here's the other thing that kind of bugs me is this one here, this ZONEIGHT. Well, we have two words here. So what do they qualify that as? What do they qualify that as? So that is the second to last one. So they count it as the one. All right. Yeah. But that's, yeah. So that's a little bit. And then you can see like the 16 here. Well, you don't want that either. All right, concatenate string and int. All right, so let me think. I'm just gonna have to sit here and think about this for a minute. All right, I just want to write out the number of words just so I can write them out myself. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It just said 1 through 9, right? Yeah, 1 through 9. Yeah. Okay. So the reason I'm looking at this is to see if there's like a way that like looking at the starting character. So like all right, so we have an O, T, T, F, F, S, S, E, N. All right, so let's get out the duplicates. All right, so those are all the ones that begin like a number. That's really wonky to me, though. Well, actually, this might work. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking about here. So all these numbers begin with just these 6 characters. So there's 26 characters in the alphabet. So you can see here that, like, so let's say we started off with this X value. Then so what I'm thinking is if it doesn't begin with one of these values, then we just keep going, and then we just keep concatenating the string together. And then whenever we actually see a number in there, then we can actually just extract that out and place it within the whatever. I don't know if I'm again explaining it kind of poorly, but I hope you're kind of getting what I'm putting down here. All right. So if, all right, I want to try something. Oh, that's interesting. Created a whole big long tuple value. All right. Oh wait, why did I delete that? I didn't want to delete that. All right, I'm gonna call this starting cars equals O T T F S E N. All right. Okay, so basically we know that we are starting a number if it starts with one of these letters. So I'm thinking that if we can keep concatenating them. All right, so for car and calibration line. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to check to see if it is a digit. All right, so let's go back and get our code here. So for car and calibration line, if car is digit, then we want to just, well, actually, we want it if it's not a digit. If not a digit, then we want to check to see if it's in the starting characters, and if not, then continue. All right, so if car in starting cars, print car. All right, let's just see what this does. All right, so what did that do? So that got the TONNE. All right, so I need to, all right. This is probably a really stupid way to do it. There's probably a better way to do this. I'm just bringing this down here because I can't remember what we're working with. All right, so we got the T, we got the O, and then we got the N, we got the NE. All right. So what we want to do is we would just want to keep it going and adding more to the characters there. All right, so word equals that. All right. If number word is empty and it's not a car, then how do I add a letter to a string? How to add letter to, wait, maybe it's just plus equals. All right, hold on. Word plus equals car. Okay, so that did work. We got the first letter there. Okay, so all right, I think this is gonna work. It's hacky as heck, but basically what I'm trying to do is if there's a number word here and it's empty, like there's nothing there, then we're gonna start adding the letters to it. So if all right, so else. So if it's not empty, then we want to just keep adding to it, and then we want to check if it's an actual word. All right, so I'm gonna call this words as numbers. Numbers as words. Numbers as words equals. I'm gonna turn this into a list, formalized list. Oops, forgot the equal sign. There we go. All right, so for numbers as words, we're gonna go through all these. All right, so else. All right, so we're gonna concatenate again. All right, else number word plus equals car. And then we're going to check to see if this actual number word is in here. So if number word in numbers as words, then what we want to do is convert that. Oh, I do want to do a dictionary. Okay, I want to turn this into a dictionary. Never mind. Numbers as words equals. So I'm going to create a small little dictionary here. 2 is 2. Again, this may not be the best way to do it. In fact, I might go and look to see what other people did after I'm done. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9. Okay. And again, this is not going to matter too much, but like I was just thinking about like, well, never mind. My brain's all over the place right now because I'm thinking about a lot of different things right now. Like some of these, fortunately, again, the data quality on this is good. I'm just thinking about in the real world, if I was doing this for like a real thing, like you would always want to be cognizant of data quality issues. And there could be concerns with data quality issues, but I'm not even going to talk about those right now. All right. Dot keys. All right, so let's look. Dot keys. All right, so that is just a list there. Okay. Then we want to add. I'm going to call this new calibration row equals that. So basically, anytime we're just going to start adding these back and creating a whole new kind of set of these things. All right, so if number word and numbers as word dot keys, then we want to append that to here. All right, so new calibration row dot append numbers as words number word. All right, so new calibration row is 2. All right. Okay, so all right, so we do that, and then we need to reset it. So number word is back to being an empty string. Okay, so that covers that. We do need to cover the integer values though. So if, all right, so actually I'm going to do this one first. So if it's car dot is digit, then we're just gonna new. All right, so new calibration row dot append int car, and then I'm gonna do if number word how to check if string is not empty. How to check if string is not empty in Python. All right. Oh. Duh. Yeah, that's the better way of doing it. Yeah. Elif len of number word is greater than 0. And we're going to do that. All right, I'm just curious to see how that worked. That actually did work. All right, we're a business. All right, so that was the hard part. Because now all we need to do is just basically just iterate back through these things. Yeah, I'm going to rename some things in here. So, okay. All right, because now, actually, this is going to make it really easy because now that we've got these numbers here, then we just got to grab the first number and the last number. All right, so, okay. So then we need to do first digit equals new calibration row 0, and then the last second digit equals new calibration row -1. So -1 grabs the last one in there. So I'm going to print these out. Print f. All right, first digit digi. Oops. Print second digit. All right, so is the first one 29? Let's go back and sanity check. Yeah, all right. So, but oh wait, I guess that doesn't matter. So if you all right, so let me just demonstrate this for you. So like let's say dummy list equals 3. So let's say let me show you, I guess 2 of these. Right. Print dummy list 0, print dummy list -1. Okay, so what I want to demonstrate here. So like I said, so if we have 2 values in here, or 2 or more values, actually let me go ahead and throw in a random value in here, we're still going to get the same thing. So it's going to grab the first one and then the last one. But the question I was having is, what if we only have 1? Like what if we only have 1? -1 still just grabs the last one, which is still the only one. So that still kind of works out. All right, so, and then I need to, how to concatenate numbers together. All right. How to concatenate integers in Python. All right, so this is what yeah, I thought that was going to be the case. That's where they just convert it to strings and then back. Okay, no problem. All right, so, all right. Combined digits equals int of the string of the first digit plus string of the second digit print combined digits is combined digits. Okay. All right, so now we just need to do more here. Okay. For calibration line in calibration line, right? Is this the whole thing? Calibration values. Golly. All right, let's go ahead and indent all these things. All right, so we're iterating through all those. Iterating over all the calibration lines. Checking, yeah. We actually want to move this into here, don't we? And this into here. Do we want to move that? Yeah, let's move that in here as well. Starting cars is fine where it's at. I'm gonna clean this code up too. Like I like to annotate my code if you know me. All right, just checking to see that the stream is still working out all right. Okay. All right, so we got a new calibration row. We got a new number word. All right, so combine digits. And then we want to, okay, we do want to create like a master kind of thing. What did we call this above? Just for, all right, so calibration digits. Calibration digits. Calibration. Append combined digits. All right, let's let's go ahead and delete all this out. All right, did I do that right? Calibration digits. All right, so what were we expecting? 29, 88, 13, 23. All right, so 29, 83. Oh no, that's not good. What did we do wrong this second time? 88. Oh, son of a gun. Wow, they really had to make this complicated. This is probably the hardest first day one that I've done. Like, wow, that's a pain. Okay. Well, so you can see the problem that I'm having here, and I didn't think about this, is the number 8 and the number 2 share a character. Why did they have to do that to me? Shoot. Why did they have to do this to me? All right. Okay. I mean, I got most of these right, but I did not get this last one right. Okay, so I got to think about this again. 1477. Did I get? Let me check. 1476. So, all right. So what happened here? 76. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay. I'm thinking we might have to restart from scratch. Think of a different path forward. This was not a good path forward, apparently. So if we find, all right, I'm trying to think of a different path. All right, so if we find each word. Find. But how do we get them back in the right order? That's the question. How do I get them back in the right order? Okay, because what I was thinking next is just trying to do a string find to pull out each individual word, and then, but which would be fine, but how do you get them back in the correct order? Oh man. I really did not expect this day one to be this difficult. Oh my gosh. I don't know how much longer I want to keep going too. Yeah. So, by the way, the chat is open if anybody has any suggestions or thoughts as to what we can do here. Because I am at a bit of a loss right now. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Why did they do that? I guess the other question is, why is this not? Yeah. Well, all right, how do we get the last character of a string? How to get last character. All right, because I'm thinking to do something kind of hacky, but I don't know if this is going to work or not. Python. Okay, so it is just a index value. So if number word -1 in starting cars, then the number word is going to be -1. And then we'll just turn this into an else. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try this out out of curiosity. Okay, so 21, 82, 12, 23. All right, well, that didn't work. I don't know if you were saw what I was trying to do there. Basically, what I was trying to do was I was trying to start off the word, yeah, and then just keep going, like with the last character of that word. Oh wait, but what if it overlaps with two characters? All right, I need to go back up here and look at the words again. So it's only the case. All right. So when is this a problem? All right. So this is going to be a problem with. I don't know why I have two T's in there. Often. All right. 1 2 O T F S E N. Okay. O T. So why did it do that? All right. So that should have worked, but apparently it didn't. And I'm trying to figure out why. All right, so we just keep adding the characters. All right, so if it's empty, then we want to invoke this. Oh wait, I'm doing something stupid here. I'm doing something really weird. Why am I doing it like this? I think I know what is going on here. $29.82. Wait, I need to. 29.82, 13, 42, 14.77. I need to just copy these down so I can just reference them for below. I can delete this out. All right, so 29, 83, 13, 24, 42. All right, so it doesn't, all right, it's still having a problem with the second one. What's going on with the second line here? All right, so 8, 2. Oh, that's why. That is why. Because like, so I see what's going on here. So it's trying to append this as 03, which is not what we want, obviously. 03. Find word. Find and break words. Find the strings. Okay, I'm thinking. All right, search string for List of words. If any word. Yeah, but I want all of them. For word and list. Wait, what did I do here? Why is this? Oh, I'm looking above. Wait. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. Better not confuse myself. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna go back to just. Okay, which one's the actual one that's giving us problems? It's the second one, right? Yeah, it's the second one of these, which would be at index position 1. All right. All right, so what was this code here? I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to reference it down here. Oh, but that's just checking to see if anything's in there. I want to extract. How to extract? Extract from. All right, so that is. I don't think this is what I wanted. No, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, that's not helpful. Mm-hmm. T E O. Okay. T E O. Calibration. All right, so 29, 83, 13, 24, 42, 14, 77. Okay, so that same issue there. The number word is. Well, I guess it would be the current character. Right? Yeah. I don't know why I'm trying to do this business here. T-O 298213. All right, so no, that didn't work either. No. Okay. All right, think about it, David. Think about it. The problem is I got so much code now that I'm starting to get confused as to what I've already written and what I've not already written. I don't know how much longer I want to keep going either. I was before this. What I've been doing today is I've been listening to this audiobook on quantum physics while playing Grand Theft Auto on my Steam Deck, and I kind of want to get back to doing that because that was a good time. Um, all right. Hello, Night Toad, whoever you are. Just looking at the chat. If anybody has any ideas, I'm open to them. Drop them in the chat. Because I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna cheat here. I'm trying to figure this out. All right. Words as numbers. All right, I actually am going to use ChatGPT, but I'm not going to use ChatGPT in a like a nefarious kind of way. All right, so what I'm going to do is, all right, so I have a list. Here, let me move my face so you can see what I'm doing here. I have a list of jumbled characters together in a string, and some of these characters form words. How can I pull these words out in the proper order? Please note that sometimes the words may overlap in letters. All right, so let's see what ChatGPT has to say about this. All right, so we have a dictionary. Handle overlapping words. What are the words? Your jumbled string. Oh, I think that's kind of cool that they actually got all 4 of those in there. Okay, I want to, out of curiosity, I'm just going to copy and paste this just to see how it runs. Because I think this is why I use precisely why I use ChatGPT these days. All right, so found words. Okay, so this is probably going to be the best answer here, but I don't want to use this right out. The one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to copy and paste this code without understanding how it works. So let's talk about what it's doing here. All right, so what it's doing is it's taking our jumble string and then it's taking a set of words. It doesn't, so I don't think we necessarily need to use a set here, but that's okay. So for I in range length, so this is the length of the string. So this is the whole entire string. For j and I plus 1, length plus 1. Length plus 1. So okay, so it's just like making a moving window, like with a substring. Yeah, but like, why is it if the string is in the dictionary? What is the dictionary? Okay, so that's not really even a dictionary. That's just a set there, guys. All right. Yeah, this is the much smarter way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to delete pretty much all of this. I don't need... Yeah, I'm going to just nuke this entire row. I know that was probably a bad... And you know what? I instantly regret doing that. Because what if I want to come back to it for whatever reason? All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and delete that. Delete that. All right. Found words equals for I in range, length of the calibration line. for j in range I plus 1 len calibration line plus 1. Okay, I'm just gonna do what they did. Length equals len of the calibration line. Len calibration line. All right, so let's length, and then we can do length plus 1. Oh, but then how do we get the, oh my gosh. So this is gonna do all right for, okay, all right. Have some random integers dispersed throughout. How can I also collect those while preserving the order in which they were collected? And this is why ChatGPT or other large language models are pretty awesome. All right. Here's a revised approach. Search for numbers and strings. Okay, so let's copy this and see what it does. I just want to see what this does instead. What made me think I was going to get a day 2? I am clearly wrong. Okay. All right. I can't believe I thought we were going to get to day 2. What was I thinking? All right, so for calibration values, return found items. Found items equals extract. I'm going to rewrite this because I'm not thrilled with how they've written it, but it's fine for this calibration line. And then our dictionary is going to be, it's actually going to be numbers as words dot keys. Numbers as words dot keys. Print found items. 21983. Did this? Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. 330. Hold on. Gotta copy this back down here. 21983132442123476. Okay. I mean, that worked. But it didn't. Yeah. Okay, and then we just need to convert these into whatever. Okay, but what if, all right, well, so check if the number, so if then we want to found items dot append jumbled string start. While I is less than 1, jumbled string is digit. Well, let's just see if I can make use of this right out, but like, all right, so I actually want to alter this to where if substring in dictionary found items dot append, not substring, we want to actually append. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pass in the entire thing. So, because if I pass in the entire thing, numbers as words, then dictionary dot keys substring dictionary substring oops dictionary dot keys set has no attribute. Oh, that's because I don't need this anymore. Okay, so all right, so that converted them all into numbers. All right, so found items. All right, so we've extracted that. All right, so first item. Wait, hold on. I want to make sure that we're calling this correct. First digit. If found items 0 dot is digit. Equals found items 0 else. So it's not a digit, then we want to convert it. No, we just want to get the first one. So first digit equals int found items 0 0. All right. If found. All right, and then basically we want to do the same thing for this. Digit set. I can't believe I still got 3 of y'all watching me out here. Reveal yourselves. Tell me why you are still watching me go through this pain. Okay. All right. So found items equal -1, -1, -1, combined digits equals int str first digit plus str second digit. All right. Then what do we call this up here? Calibration digits. All right. Combined calibration digits dot append combined digits. Oh. How to check if value is integer in Python. Dot is numeric. Is instance, that's right. If is instance is instance int is instance some 281. All right, so is that the correct value? All right. Okay, so let's come back up here and get the actual input. So if we run this again, yeah, 5093. Well, that's a bummer. Like yeah. So something is even wrong with this code here. Like it worked on the sample, but it did not work on the final thing here. -1, -1. Oh, that's because it's checking if it's any integer. Oh wait, no. I don't know. Golly, this is easily the hardest first day. Like the other first days I blew through like that part 1 here, like how we kind of blew through that, like with the minimal amount of code that was like, let me show you. So like let's go back to 2021 day 1, the calorie counting one. Yeah, look at that. Like all I had to do was like resort these things and was just good to go. And like minimal lines of code. Like most of the code in here is annotation. And then day 1 over here, yeah, same sort of deal. Like it was extremely simple. So that's why I set this up today, thinking like, okay, well, day 1's not going to be too bad. Easily the hardest first day I've had to do. I'm calling it here for now. I am tired of trying to deal with this for now. I will definitely revisit this. Probably not live. But yeah, so I hope you all learned something at least, or enjoyed watching me struggle through this. But wow, that's kind of embarrassing. Like I was even telling myself right before this before the stream started, like if I don't get through day 1 on this stream within an hour, it's gonna look pretty embarrassing. But this is actually much more difficult of a first day than I had anticipated. So I'm not gonna beat myself too much up over it, but like I need a nap. I'm tired. So for context, I've been sick for the last week, and like I accidentally iron poisoned myself. Like I didn't know that was possible. So like I had started taking this iron supplement about a month ago, and just doing 1 a day. This is just over the counter kind of stuff, like stuff that you can buy at the local Walgreens. And like right after Thanksgiving, like Sunday, like this last Sunday, like just I was just sick like day after day, like, and it like with nausea and stuff, like flu-like symptoms, no fever though or anything like that. So I went to the doctor and finally figured out like, oh yeah, like it's because I've been taking this iron. And so I'm finally feeling on the up and up. But I guess the good news is I kind of detoxed my body because of that. Like, so I've not had caffeine or anything like that in like a week. So I'm only drinking water here right now. But my body is not used to not having caffeine. So I had to deal with the caffeine withdrawal effects from that a little bit too, because I drink way too much caffeine. And so I'm sleepy now. And I'm just frustrated that this stream didn't work out as well as I wanted it to, but it's okay. We'll come back. So I actually do push all this up to GitHub as well. So I will eventually push the final thing up to GitHub and it'll all be cleaned up too with annotated lines and whatnot. But for now, I'm gonna call it here. Hope you enjoyed watching me struggle through this. I'm gonna call it a day here, and I will see you at some point. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.